But I wanted to show women especially that I understand what you're saying. I wanted to show women that, listen, if you tell me about the way a man is and what he's done and how he's treating you and the mishaps and blase blah in a relationship, I understand. Let me tell you, women, I want you to hear me well. Your listeners, hear me well. I understand very, very well that men play games, men break your hearts, they don't follow through.
Come on.
They're not as committed as they ought to be. They run you around with these different and we could just basically say in a lot of ways they full of it, right? I understand that there's a pocket of men out there that are just they just full of it.
That's right.
I could even say, listen, at one point I've been full of it.
Come on.
Right? What at some point in my life, I've been the man that has not been serious, that has played games, that has misled, that have just taken for granted. I get it. There's nothing you can tell me about the ways or behaviors of a man that I'm not going to understand and believe. I've also learned one thing too, and this is, I think, is the hard pill to swallow. I've also learned, ladies, that you're absolutely no different from men. You play the same games, you undermine the same way, you take for granted the same way, you discard men, you use men, women, right? So the reality, as much as we want to have these conversations about who's hurt who more, and we go back and forth about that, the reality is that we are both co-conspirators in the decline and the decimation of our relationships and our family units. You are just as guilty as we are. So my purpose for my book is to show you the process and the experiences that a man has that replicates the very same experiences that you have. It's your book. It just looks like me. It just has a penis attached to it.
Come on.
So it's absolutely no different from a life that you are experiencing. You are just as equally equivalent. You're in this process, but we have double standards.
Mm-hmm.
We have ways of seeing women in our society that allows women to get a green light in certain ways that men get a red light. And we have certain ways in society that men get a green light in ways that women get a red light. I'm just proposing to you, ultimately, that we both have to stop a certain way of thinking if we want this thing to work. And if women are not willing to be accountable, and that's the unfortunate thing for me. Listen, I've only talked to black women my whole life. I've only been in a romantic relationship with black women, so I can't talk about any other women.
Okay.
Black women, unfortunately, the tendency in a lot of cases is that we're not allowed to criticize. We're not allowed to give critical feedback. The moment you tell a woman, you try to hold her accountable on some level, the feedback becomes that we're being negative. We are not protecting. We're undermining. We're doing all of those things. So it's almost like, and this is, you want to talk about what the men say? That's what we say. Like, man, you can't tell them nothing. Because there's this idea of by nature of you being a woman, you're automatically perfect. And that by nature of being a woman, you become the prize. And by nature of a woman, that we should be after you. And no, you're not ready to be in relationships. You have poor communication skills. You're not effective communicators. You mismanage money. And you don't have a good spirit about you. You have a nasty attitude. And you deal with men in ways that do not allow them to prosper and grow. How about that? The same way that you could say the same things about men. We're both in this together.